shopping sprees, video games, and stuff. I think you get the point. Solomon ran the numbers, and what he recognized is that pleasure as a destination always disappoints. Solomon's version of this is wine and revelry. Your version and mine is probably a little different. It's the weekend you've been looking forward to all week that comes and goes faster than you expected. It's the vacation that, man, we just got here and it feels like we're already going home, and now you're dreading Monday at work. It's the thing on your calendar that you've been counting down to, and when it arrives, it's fine. Maybe it's even good, but it's almost like the excitement of counting down or working towards the thing was more fun than when you actually got there. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but it just wasn't what you were banking on. And so for you guys, and I don't know what pleasure you're chasing right now, or that you're hoping will finally be the thing that sticks, or whatever it is in your life that you feel like once we finally get this, we can take a breath and we can relax and life will get easy. Don't ever say to yourself, life won't be busy anymore after this. He'll teach you. He will. But it might be worth asking yourself honestly, is this a destination that I'm trying to get to because I feel like once I get there, or is it pointing me somewhere? If we keep reading in Ecclesiastes chapter 2, he says, I made great works. I built houses and planted vineyards for myself. I made myself gardens and parks and planted in them all kinds of fruit trees. I made myself pools from which to water the forest of growing trees. I bought male and female slaves and had slaves who were born in my house. I had also great possessions of herds and flocks, more than any who had been before me in Jerusalem. I also gathered for myself silver and gold and the treasure of kings and provinces. I got singers, both men and women, and many concubines, the delight of the sons of man. So I became great and surpassed all who were before me in Jerusalem. Also, my wisdom remained with me. And I think this one, as we read these 5 verses here, I think it should make all of us a little uncomfortable, because the pleasure experiment that we're on, like we can all nod along, okay, he made the things, he had the houses, he did all the stuff, okay. Yeah, chasing pleasure doesn't work, John, I got it, sure. But this is the one we actually believe in. Because we tell ourselves if we get the thing, or if I get the house, man, I'd really like to have that boat, or if we could just get this nicer camper, or whatever it is for you. But we actually do believe that. Like, we live like that. I live like that. And Solomon doesn't dabble here. He doesn't like dip his toe in and see if success works. Like, he goes all the way. Houses, vineyards, gardens, pools, servants, herds, silver, gold, singers. Like, he builds an entire world practically. And then he keeps going by every measurable standard. He won. He did it. He had everything he could possibly have. Like, the dude made it. There was nobody left to compare himself to. He had surpassed all who had come before him and all who was. The scoreboard was not even close. And if you look at verse 4 again, it says, I made great works. Because if you look at like the original text and you take that literal meaning out, make great works, it's not just describing output. It's not like he just, I made all these cool houses, check me out, dog. Like, literally, it carries this idea of building something that outlasts you. Like something with a legacy, like a name attached to it. And Solomon wasn't just spending money or collecting things. He was doing that, but it wasn't all he was doing. He was trying to build something that would matter beyond his own lifetime. Like, it's like leave a legacy kind of thing. And I think that's the version of achievement that gets most of us. Not just having things, but building something that means something, or being someone that means something. Like something that lasts, something that matters, that has your name on it in a way, like kind of after you're gone, right? Like, but here's verse 9, and this is the detail that kind of, my wisdom remained with me. He wasn't like deluded. He wasn't like a guy that was in denial. He knew exactly what he had and what he had done. He's the most accomplished, wisest man in the history of the world at the absolute peak of everything, and he kept going. Because getting there still wasn't enough. Which has to make you wonder, it makes me wonder, like, someone who literally has everything, like, why do they keep accumulating? Why does it never feel like enough to stop? Even if I want to step away from Solomon for a minute, and you look at companies or wealthy people, like, they're always acquiring more or purchasing more land or building another house, or like Tom Brady, when he's playing football, like, he wins one ring. What's your favorite one? The next one. And it's like, dog, like you got this many. Like, we're done now, right? Like, it was all, but it's always the next one. There wasn't any satisfaction in winning that. Like, you got to where you got to go, but now it's time for the next one kind of thing. Like, chasing after things, it just getting there wasn't enough. And that's not just Solomon. It's not just people with the resources to do it or just the rich. Like, it's human nature. It's the voice in all of us that says, like, the next thing will be the thing. It's always the next thing. It's always one more. The goalpost keeps moving, and we keep running to it, and we really don't ever stop to ask why, or at least I don't. Like, Solomon's version is palaces and gold reserves. Yours and mine's probably the house you'd buy if you could, or that next promotion at work, or the number in the retirement account so you can finally breathe, the milestone for your kids that would make you feel like, you know what, maybe we're doing okay with these kids. Building something meant to matter, building something meant to last. I don't know what you're building right now that you're hoping will finally feel like enough. We're all going through it. Everybody's in the middle of something. Like, I don't have to discount it, but we're all thinking like, well, we just got to get here. We just got to make it to Friday. We just got to make it to the end of the season. I just got to make it to the end of this quarter or this pay period, whatever it is. And we feel like once we get to that, that'll be the thing, but there's always a next. And I don't ever, like, do you ever stop to ask, like, who am I trying to prove even? Like, what am I trying to prove by chasing after these things? It finishes with this, and whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. I kept my heart from no pleasure from my heart, for my heart found pleasures in all my toil, and this was my reward for all my toil. Then I considered all that my hands had done, and the toil I had expended in doing it, and behold, all was vanity and a striving after the wind, and there was nothing to gain under the sun. This is the part of the chapter where Solomon, he steps back and gives us this verdict. And I want you to notice what he says in verse 10 before he gets there. Whatever my eyes desired, I did not keep from them. I kept my heart from no pleasure. So he didn't fail. He's not telling us he failed. He's actually telling us, like, he did it. He succeeded. He got everything. He held nothing back from himself. And then he evaluated it. And what he saw, vanity. Just a striving after the wind. And I like that imagery, striving after the wind, because you think about wind, like you're outside, you can feel the wind like blow on you. You can chase it. You can, sailboat, you throw the sail up and the wind will pull you as long as it's going in the direction you're trying to go in. But you can't catch it. You can't hold it. And if you feel the wind, you try to grab it with your hand, like you just can't do it. Like, and really, you can't even see it. But the most important phrase in this whole passage is 3 words Solomon uses over and over and over again in this book. If you read through all of Ecclesiastes 29 times, under the sun. 29 times in Ecclesiastes he uses under the sun. And it's not just some like throwaway phrase or like that's just the way he likes to describe it. But like think about it, like it's this lens for the entire book. It means like a life oriented toward what is visible, measurable, achievable, and kind of contained between birth and death. And so a life lived only on this plane, everything under the sun, where the only thing that counts are the things you can see, touch, and accumulate and accomplish. And Solomon's conclusion after he's done all of it isn't that life is meaningless and that there's no point to any of this. His conclusion is that a life lived only under the sun is always going to come up empty. Not because things are evil, but because they were never designed to carry the weight that you and I give to them. They were not designed for that. We put this weight on them, and we are asking of things and accomplishments and achievements and dollar signs to do something that they were not built to do. If you're familiar with C.S. Lewis, he says it like this. I think he nails it. If I find in myself desires which nothing in this world can satisfy, the only logical explanation is that I was made for another world. And that's not pessimism. It's actually really good news. Because if the emptiness is a signal, and if the thing I've been treating as a design flaw in me that I just can't seem to fill is actually pointing me somewhere, then it means what I'm looking for actually might exist. I'm just looking for it in the wrong place. And so, even working in ministry, being in ministry, being a minister, I'm here to do things on behalf of the kingdom of God, okay? And I could sit here and be like, I'm so spiritual. Me and God, man, we're tight, man. We're like this. Nothing in my life ever goes wrong. I tell you, if there's a number in my head of students that I think should have showed up on a Sunday night, and it's less than that, I'm texting my wife. I don't even know what I'm doing. If I have an event or a trip signed up, and I don't feel like I get the amount of sign-ups or whatever, or the buy-in to it, or whatever it is that I thought I should have, it crushes me sometimes. Or if I have a whole series or a message plan for students, or even up here, and I feel like you guys are all looking at me like, when is this guy done? I've got a little bit longer, if you were wondering. I just feel like a failure. But that's the thing, is even in this role, even if I'm working for God, I still fall into that too. Like Mark's the same way. Like, I can fall into the wrong things, and like the number of students that show up to a thing, or the number of people that say, oh, you did a good job, whatever it is, like that's not why I'm here. But it's easy to let those things carry weight and feel like they fulfill me in some like stupid way, but they don't. I have 100 students come to youth group on a Sunday night. If 100 of them don't listen to anything I say and don't care about Jesus, it doesn't matter if there was 10. That's what matters, is trying to point people to Jesus. But it's easy. It's easy for me to get caught up. And some of my volunteers are in here, and they know, they can see it. I'm horrible about this. I'll wear it on my face. I'll be like, I just don't know what we're doing wrong. Meanwhile, I've got a kid who's inviting their classmates to come to church. And I've got another student who's praying for their parents, and another one who's, man, I really need to talk to my grandpa. And he's trying to, like, all these stories, but I miss the success in the light of what I think I'm trying to chase after, which is dumb. I'm dumb. But it is. I fall into it too. And I know you've probably felt this. Most people in this room, I think, have an honest answer to that question of what were you trying to get, or what did you think was going to satisfy you and it didn't? You've all got it. There's mine. A little bit more vulnerability than you probably usually get. But here's what I want you to hold on to. And this is the big thing. This is kind of like, if we're going to take anything away from today, take this. Solomon's conclusion is not the end of the story. It's a diagnosis that points somewhere. And if everything under the sun comes up empty, then like I've already said, like maybe you were made for something more than just what's under the sun. Something that doesn't fade, something that doesn't move the goalpost on you, something that when you get to the end and look back, the weight of it was worth it. And so, I talked to you guys earlier, what does making it or what does more look like for me? And I had to think about that, and I think that's the honest answer. I think sometimes more is like what I have and what my family's got and all those things and whatever. But that's not really what does making it look like. I had to reflect on that too. And making it in more, I sometimes catch myself in, are not the same. And so really it's two things. In the parable of the talents in Matthew, the end of it is kind of like a parable talking about the end times. In the last verse here, his master said to him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a little. I will set you over much. Enter into the joy of your master." So, right, like at the end of my life, like when I get where I'm going, I want to hear that. I want to hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And ultimately, I want all of you to hear that at the end of your life. My time, my effort, my energy here, like in my work, what I do, like it's to see people know Jesus and for them to then help other people know Jesus. And I want to see your students develop a faith of their own. I want them to go to their schools and be on fire and be forces for the kingdom. At school, on their sports team, theater, band, all the things. Whatever they're signed up in and doing. I want that for them so bad. But I also have these 5 in my life, and it should go up on the screen there. That's number 1 for me. They're the most important in my life, and making it for me is for them to hear it. Every single one of you, if I have some part to play in you dying and going to heaven and hearing, "Well done, good and faithful servant," but I've sacrificed my ministry to them for the sake of it, I'm a failure. That is the number 1 thing to me. I don't care. I do care if I accomplish everything that's under the sun and I see hundreds of students come to know Jesus here at Hope City, but they don't get to hear that. What was I doing? you know? I failed. And the second thing, I said there was two. You almost got me there. My eyes were sweating a little bit. There was a religious leader in the 18th century, which, according to my students, sometimes is about when I was their age. And come on, guys. I got to say the name because it's fun. Count Nicholas Ludwig van Zinzendorf, write that down, says this. And I want it to resonate with Christians specifically in this room. I heard a pastor, his name's Carl Kuhl. His last name is, anyways. He shared this quote earlier this year in a message. It was the church that we used to attend when we lived in Louisville. And he shared this, and it really stuck with me. And I think this is really big. Like, we talk about we want to leave a legacy, or we want to be someone that matters, or do something that matters, and all these things. And what do you want to do with your life? What is making it really look like? And he said this. He said these things about life. Preach the gospel, die, and be forgotten. And that's the finish line for me. That's what making it looks like for me. I want my wife and I want my kids to hear, well done, good and faithful servant. And I want to preach the gospel. I want to die, and I want to be forgotten. I don't want a number or a title or something that you can put on a highlight reel. I want a moment at the end where the God of the universe looks at the life I lived, the people I love, the way I spent the time that he gave me, where I pointed my kids towards, and say, well done. Because I live my life in obedience to him. And I don't really care if you remember me. I don't want you to remember me. You hold me accountable just with people in first service. If I die, don't put my name on anything. I will come back and haunt you. I don't think it's possible, but I'll try to find out. But I sure hope that when it's all said and done in my life that I've pointed people to Jesus and they've pointed people to Jesus, and they're going to hear that as well. And I want you to remember what I did, or maybe remember what I said, and if it inspired you or helped you in your faith in any kind of way or in your life. I don't want you to remember John Langley. I don't care. I don't care. I don't need to be remembered. I'm a chronic people pleaser who's always worried about what you guys think about me and what my friends think about me. But truthfully, I don't care. I don't need you to remember me. And that sounds really dark. I'm not going anywhere as far as I know, but it's good. I don't know what you've been chasing, but I know whatever it is, if it's under the sun, it's going to come up short. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because it was never built to do what you're asking it to do. If you're not sure where you stand with God, maybe you're here today and you're not really sure what you believe about Jesus. Maybe someone brought you. You're still figuring out what you think about all this. Maybe you've been coming for a while, and you like it here, but you've never actually crossed the line into saying, like, I'm in, like this faith, like this is mine. Here's what I want you to take from today, regardless of where you land on everything else. The emptiness that you feel in your life is not a design flaw. The fact that more has never satisfied you, that the thing that you are chasing after has never quite got what you expected, that the feeling fades faster than you thought it would when you got it. It's not a problem with you, it's a signal. And Solomon was the smartest, wealthiest, most resourced human being in history. And even he ran the experiment all the way to the end and succeeded and came back with the same report, that under the sun, it was vapor. But his conclusion isn't despair. It is, think of it like an arrow. It is, if nothing under the sun fills you, well, then maybe you were made for something the sun can't reach. Maybe the desire itself isn't pointing you somewhere. What more can't isn't a system or a religion or a set of rules to follow. It's a person. Okay, and that person's name is Jesus, and he's the one who looked at everything under the sun, and he said, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. He's the one who offers something that doesn't fade. Not because life gets easy, it doesn't, but because the thing you're actually looking for finally has somewhere to land and something that can handle the weight of what you're looking for it to do. You don't have to have it figured out today. You don't have to be cleaned up or certain or ready. You just have to be honest enough to say what I've been chasing after is not working. That's the first step. And we would love to walk through what that looks like with you. There's going to be people up here in the front as we continue to worship that will pray with you, talk about next steps, talk about baptism with you. There are so many people in this building that probably don't even know you, and they love you, and they want what's best for you, and they want to see you take that next step. Find somebody to talk to. Don't leave today and just feel something about the message or, man, that really tugged on the heartstrings, John. Like, do something about it. And if you're a Christian, you probably nodded along to most of what Solomon said today. I didn't say anything super surprising. I don't think I revealed anything of your faith that maybe you didn't know before. You know that more doesn't fill you. You know that this life isn't everything there is, and you've known that for a long time, especially those of you that grew up in church and been coming to church, been a Christian for as long as I can remember, or whatever. But the harder question is, are you living like it's true? You know it, sure. Are you living like it's true? Because there's a version of this Christian life where you know all the right things and you still spend an actual majority of your time, energy, and emotional bandwidth on everything that's under the sun. Where Sunday looks one way and the rest of the week looks completely different. Where you'd say out loud that Jesus is enough, but your calendar, your bank account, the thing you think about the most when you can't sleep at night actually says something different. And I'm not saying that to point a finger at you. I'm saying it because I know it from the inside. And Solomon knew it from the inside. And the grace of this book is that it's written by someone who ran the whole experiment so that we don't have to run it again. What would it look like if you reoriented one aspect of your week, just one thing that you've been chasing under the sun, and you choose something that's above it instead? Or maybe you look at your life and think of that one thing that you're holding on to that you could let go of, or that one moment with your kid where instead of thinking about your to-do list or what you have to get done tomorrow, maybe you just can be right there with them in that moment. Tell your coworker about Jesus. Tell your kids about Jesus. Help your spouse learn more about Jesus. Those small moments where not everybody gets to see what you do and you've got no audience and nobody's ever going to know if you did it or not, where you're faithful and you're obedient, those are the ones where faithfulness actually lives. Because I actually take the time to not only live out what I say I believe, but I'm actually being obedient in the process too. And so if you're a Christian in this room, the only thing that I need you to do, and I don't need you to do it, for yourself you need to do it, is what does it look like to live my life in obedience to God? And what does it mean to be someone who's doing something meaningful? Because the only thing I can share with you that I think matters is to preach the gospel, to die, and to be forgotten, and make sure the only thing that people remember is Jesus Christ. Let me pray for us. God, I thank you for this stool, honestly. But I thank you just for who you are, and I thank you just for the opportunity to wrestle with you and to look at life and to wonder and question and be challenged and share this life alongside with you and what it looks like to really be obedient, God. And I'm just grateful for your grace in that process. I pray for everyone in this room that we would just be reoriented towards what really matters. Not that it's bad to have nice things or to want nice things, but to understand what is this desire doing for me and what really matters in this life. And I just pray everybody makes it home safely. I pray that everybody that's here this morning is open to what you have for them in their lives beyond just this morning. And it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
If you would please go ahead and stand with us again. We're going to continue in this time of worship. And just with this message, it was very convicting when I heard it first service, and convicting again because I was hearing it again. And it's challenging to go against what the world says, I need this, I need to achieve this. Even when I was going through school, I was I got to hit this benchmark and I got to do this. And even in my career, I'm I got to do this. And it's no, I don't. I don't need to put that pressure on myself. So if anyone in the room felt that conviction on your heart this morning of I don't want to be stressed out, anxious, and worried all of the time. I just want my life to reflect Jesus. I challenge you to lay it down at God's feet, because there's so much freedom. And even with, the past couple months, I had started shifting my mind towards that. And I was you know what, Lord, I'm going to give you the first, of my mind, my thoughts in the morning. So I've been spending my time in prayer each morning on my knees. And something about that posture of just surrender. It's this day is yours. So instead of just thinking about all of the to-do lists, all of the things that we need to do throughout the week that's coming up, I just challenge you to spend this last bit of worship this morning of surrendering this week, this day, this hour to God. empty praise and treasures of faith are never enough. Then you came along and put me back together. Now every desire is now satisfied here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Yes, I know it's true. I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you've seen them all, and you still call me friend. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley, and there's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who can. Oh, there's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. Oh, there's nothing. Oh, there's nothing. Lord, there's nothing. Nothing is better than you. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one that can. You can set us free. Lord, we worship you. We want to just be the light to those around us. I hope you all have a blessed week, and we'll see you back here next time.